So today we are talking about the building muscles, and we have a guest from Serbia, Stefan Tepšić and Miloš Ranđelović. So we are talking about the importance of the keeping muscle mass, because during our lifetime, after 30, every 10 years, we are losing about 8% of the muscles. And having a healthy muscle mass is important for our strength. Like, it's a fundamental cause of the good quality life in the old age, right? So without muscles, we cannot have a good joint function. We cannot have the good posture, and also without muscle mass, with the age, we are increasingly getting the fat mass, and this is changing our body composition, which associated with increased incidence of the insulin resistance and the type 2 diabetes, obesity, the heart disease, osteoporosis. So that's why it is so important. And you guys today, you will be telling us about your specific training system that you practice, and which doesn't necessarily need to have a lot of equipment and a lot of expenses. So I would like to welcome you today and tell about your experience.
Yes, thank you, doctor, for the opportunity. So we can now talk about our philosophy in our training regimen.
So basically, our training systems consist of mainly bodyweight exercises, and those are like 5 exercises, like for pushing movements and for pulling movements. For pushing movements, we use push-ups and dips for vertical and horizontal plane of motion. For pulling movements, we use pull-ups for vertical plane of motion, and variations of Australian pull-ups for horizontal pulling, because we want to cover all the movement patterns in our routine. And the fifth
what is Australian pull-ups? Can you give a short explanation?
Australian pull-ups is when you when you're horizontal, like you position yourself diagonally to the ground.
Yes, our feet are to the ground, and we use the grip so we can target our backs. It is for the thickness of the backs, and
it's those are just finances. What are we hitting better in our?
Okay.
It is hard to explain. We can maybe put some pictures afterwards or something.
Yeah. Okay, great. So basically, do you train all muscle groups in once, like sit in one training?
All muscle groups till near failure. That is about it, and we do it for days in a row. So we don't do splits, and we don't do like conventional fitness ideology, gym ideology.
Because
we train by muscle groups.
When you're doing bodyweight training, you don't have that luxury of adding weight. So you have to make up for that progression in some other way. So we make it up by adding more sets, doing days in a row, shortening rest periods in between sets. Adding repetitions. In order to get that metabolic stress, which is the main trigger for our hypertrophy, because in gym goers, they are going on a mechanical stress because they're adding weight, and we are not adding weight. We are producing more and more metabolites that are accumulating with our short rest periods and high frequency training. So we don't allow our muscles to rest.
And so
if I'm as a beginner, for example, I will start and my near failure reps would be, for example, 20 sit-ups I can make. It will be my failure. So you gradually increase the reps, right? Like, because by training you are getting stronger. So how many reps right now is for you, like near fail for the sit-ups, for example?
It depends on the exercise, because
it depends on
and the amount of sets, because there's always an optimal point. Like you wouldn't do much reps if you're gonna do a bigger volume, and volume is the number of sets that you do. So with experience, you learn to optimize your repetitions and volume. Like when you do like 10 sets, you will do more repetition. But when you do 20 sets, you will do less repetition. It's all about optimizing that sweet spot, which is mainly subjective. So it's very hard for me to.
How do you choose the sets? Like, for example, in a week, when you make less exercises but more reps, or you do more exercises and less reps? What depends on? How do you choose?
We go and we test ourselves.
We chase the feeling, and we teach people to learn to listen to their own bodies, so they can chase the feeling as well. They don't chase numbers. They don't chase sets. We don't.
Every time we go train, we test ourselves with the first few sets, and we know exactly, based on our subjective feeling on that day, how we will train. Like, I'm feeling sore that day, I will do only 10 repetitions, 10 sets. And throughout our workout, we are optimizing. We are going lower and higher in our sets and reps, and it's all constantly in a dynamical shifting. It's very abstract
between sets.
Yeah,
but I need to tell you that we are engaging something like breaking the metabolites from the yesterday. So if I am sore from yesterday, I will not make a break today, because I'm not waiting for my body to fix my soreness, because that takes up to 5 days or more, and that will not give me any muscle gains.
And that's basically the core of our philosophy.
That is the core of our philosophy.
Go in sore and
break the metabolites.
Yes.
We sense that it is all about metabolites, lactic acid.
So you don't have any rest day, like you train 7 days a week.
Yes, we train more than
we train more than 7 days.
More than 7 days in a row. But we started when we were younger. We started maybe with 4 or 5 days. Then we gradually put more days in a row.
Yeah, it's all gradual process, and we have like more than 12 years of experience of this. So you get the idea of how.
And I think the process called hormesis is very important for us to mention, because it is all about our body's ability to adapt to that kind of stress, and we don't feel that stress anymore. It is now 7 days in a row. It's almost
it's like 1 or 2 days.
Yes.
So
you don't have the overtraining. Like, how do you recover then?
Well, the overtraining is a real thing, but we push it further. For a beginner, overtraining is maybe 20 minutes of exercise, and he will be overtrained, and that's it for him for that day. But gradually, in time, that overtraining is pushed forward, and we chase it. We meet the overtraining, but a lot of days after.
In some way, overtraining is the point.
Yes,
because you get to that point at which, when you're overtrained, it's easier for you in every consecutive day to reach that soreness. Because, like, when you overtrain one day for 2 hours, the consecutive days that you put in further, you pass with less training, because you will need less training because you're already sore.
Yes, for those muscle groups, but yeah. we provide ourselves with different exercises.
It's kind of like a hack in some way, because you pass with less training because you accumulated that stress over time. So,
but how about the beginners? Because you have to have a certain experience to come to such point, because for the beginners, as you said, maybe very small reps already be overtrained for them. So
for beginners, it just it's the same thing, just a smaller resolution. Like we will train like 2 weeks in a row, but a beginner should train 3 or 4 days in a row. Everybody, I think everybody can manage that. and he will have a day or two rest days, and he will repeat the cycle.
But you said you are teaching children, so for children, same.
We have a YouTube channel. So we have a YouTube channel. We started 5 months ago or something like that, and there is a lot happening there.
Teens are incredibly strong. When they hit puberty, they're like
hormones.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but they are very strong.
So believe me, at some point they're stronger than us. I think their motivation is stronger than us.
Yeah. So I will just give a note, like what we try to do when we train. You know, we are boosting not only the muscles, we are boosting the hormonal system. So we increase the production of the growth hormone, the testosterone, you know. So basically, that's how the muscle growth works, because it's believed that without appropriate amount of hormones, we cannot boost the growth of muscles, right? So how did you come to such type of training? Like, did you try other types, other methods? Like, what was your path to such type of training?
Can I say just one thing? Because you mentioned the human growth hormone. I think I can say fairly that fasting is one element that we put ourselves through every day. I eat 2 times a day, and he usually eats once per day. Sometimes one meal a day. So
1 meal a day.
I don't know if that is.
I think it's a bigger factor, because you get those spikes of growth hormone throughout the day in your fasting period, and it really helps us cope with that kind of stress. If you in the feasting period you get enough calories, protein, and
to answer your question now, it is this one. We didn't train conventional fitness ideology. If you think like we can do maybe on Monday chest, on Tuesday it's back and so forth. We didn't do that because we already figure out that we need to overtrain to.
It's just a matter of convenience, because it's much more convenient for us to go to park, which is like 20 minutes.
We are training outside.
10 minutes. It's outside. It's sunny. It's nicer than in the gym. It's more like peace of mind. So we can.
It's more natural type, of course. I agree. If you are outside, it's you're getting sun, you get the vitamin D, you get like all this infrared exposure. This is important.
Every factor is elevating us in our fitness status. So Stefan told that we went to the gym, but whenever we are in the gym, we are not doing gym ideology. So we tried different types of training, but always in our frame of reference, like always in our system, kind of a system, which is like consecutive days, all the things we mentioned. So no matter if
the natural, how did you came with the idea of natural bodybuilding? Because everyone who hear about bodybuilding, they think immediately about testosterone and steroids, you know, such stuff.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. We promote.
How did you skip this then?
I think we were in some bad situations at life, and we didn't think too much about it. We just went to work out, and we work out every day, and then the results came, and then people around us told us that we are on steroids and have great genetics. That's how we first hear about steroids. Because if you do this overtraining method like we are doing, and pushing the hormesis, our body into hormesis, and break those metabolites every day, you will look, especially for men, they will look like on steroids at one point or the other. So it is inevitable to get those comments. And we didn't train for our body's development, but for our minds. That's how we started.
That's great. It's really important point because yeah, you train. It's not only work for the muscles. So there are certain factors that's like prevention of Alzheimer, for example. The physical activity is a great prevention for Alzheimer disease and any like cognitive problems. You know. So you mentioned that you are making 1 meal a day diet, but do you track your macronutrients or like do you calculate calories or stuff?
We're not tracking them, but I supplement with zinc, selenium,
vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Vitamin C is also very important. I do like 1 gram a day. Zinc and magnesium. They told that.
So you don't do this classic stuff like amino acids, protein gainers, and stuff.
No, you get all of them from food. You can get amino acids. I tried some amino acids like tyrosine, like for production of dopamine. You know better than me. So some amino acids, when they're pure, they are precursors to some neurotransmitters. And if you want to that kind of things, you can try amino acids. But we are not using amino acids because all of it we get from high quality protein from animal protein. So
and animal fats and saturated
so.
Fats.
It's
that's
just
great because it's, in fact, yes, we can get all nutrients from the food. We just need to know how much food we need, right? And it should be according to our expenses of the energy. So do you think there will be any difference for the training for women and men if we choose for such type of training?
I would say yes, because women don't need to push themselves so much. And I don't think their goals are the same. Men usually have goals to put as much natural muscle to their frame as possible because we are men. That's what we do. So in order to fill the frame, fill our natural frame bones, we need to train a lot. We need to train extremely a lot, but women are just need to be toned and healthy. And for some...
In women, I think a genetic component is much more important than in men, because and they pass with less training if they're genetically predisposed.
That means muscle mass.
But in all honesty,
the woman don't need to be as ripped as men, so she need more fat in her body. Yeah.
Yes, higher body fat percentage. Yes.
But we are not from different planets, so I think the same principles apply to women. So in just a lower ratio.
Ratio. Yeah. They can train 5 to 6 days a week. They will look great and they will feel great and have health benefits. Mm-hmm.
But it can be like lighter version, like so not so like 100 reps, for example, right? Or...
Yes, of course. They don't have to do as much.
Yes, right. So do you have any tips for training according to the body type, like ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph?
Well, that's a very hard topic for me because I don't believe in body types. I think
why?
We're all potentially body types. We're all endo, meso, and ecto.
Yes, so people are judging about body types by fat percentage and muscle mass. If they see a skinny guy, he was very, very skinny guy. Now he's very big. That means they are already labeling them. I don't think that is how it's supposed to be.
Well, yes, you're right. Because there are people who are trying to lose weight by fat diets and they are getting body type like skinny fat. They have a very slender body but a lot of fat mass, you know. So for them, yeah, of course, they would be very hard to gain muscles and to lose fat in the first place. Because first they have to fix the nutrition. On a low-calorie diet, like long-term, they cannot lose any fat anymore, but they are losing muscles. So first nutrition, and only after that, slowly, you start training. And do you think it's possible to gain 5 kilo muscles without changing the waistline?
Without bulking, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, if you do it smart, because the conventional bulk says that you need to force it yourself.
Force it, yes.
to get muscle, and it's just a matter of listening to your appetite in a healthy manner. But it's very sensitive subject because some people do not have a proper relationship with their body, and they do not know how much to eat to get lean without getting fat, which is like
they need to find the sweet point. But I can say, I lost my mind for a second, but absolutely they can put on muscles without bulking, without getting fat. I think that it is very important for every person to be in anabolism and in catabolism at the same time. Being always in anabolism, always eating, always putting yourself into state of building, it's wrong. First of all, it will not bring you more muscles. More training will bring you more muscles, and it will bring you more health problems and issues.
If people constantly trigger anabolism, that anabolism will go into the fat because their muscle capacity, they didn't trigger muscle hypertrophy in that measure to convert everything to muscle, because they will have a lot of collateral damage, like they will gain a lot of fat as well. So that's the usual problem of getting 5 pounds without getting.
Simply said, people should not overeat. Eating enough is more than enough.
It's a gradual process.
But it's very hard to convince them in that. Nowadays people overeat without recognizing, and they think that even they stop. So it's a very difficult topic to exercise more and to eat enough. Yes.
We know many examples of bad bulking. So
people used to be fit and lean, and they overeat for some time, and they ruin their hormones. Their pancreas is not working as it used to, and they get up to 100 kilograms or something, but there's not a lot of muscles there. They need to then
ectos are becoming endos. So that's why we don't believe in that body type kind of thing.
Yeah. So one question more: do you think that there will be a difference of your training with the age? So you cannot. Do you think you will be able to train in the same capacity when you are like over 50, 60?
What age are we talking about?
When you are 50, 60, 70, 80?
Well, it all depends on your routine. I think if you get into routine, your hormonal levels will maintain a stable level, and well, maybe at like 60 they will start to drop, or maybe 50, but I think if it can be maintained for much longer than people think.
We had some examples from people around us that people can work out and look very strong at 60.
Know grandpas with abs, like they have 65 years, so
I don't think they are supplementing themselves with some testosterone. I think.
But the best example, if we look back in our past, like our ancestors, they had a lot of physical work. They were working in the field, growing the vegetables, working with the animals. They had a lot of physical work, and they were very much fit. They had a lot of muscles.
They didn't think about overtraining.
I worked for sometimes. I worked with some construction workers for a few years, and there were guys 60 plus. They are very strong and very lean, and I was amazed because they are always working.
They're always every day, which is like 5 or 6 effective hours of physical labor,
and they don't tell themselves, "Hey, today I will not hammer this thing with my hammer because it's a rest day."
They all have wrists like bigger than ours.
They are all overtrained, so that is.
That's right. And this is example for us that physical training is important, because never in history people didn't have any such problems that we have nowadays from sedentary lifestyle, because there was no such a sedentary lifestyle. And right now I think it's very important, because right now we are getting again this information about new pandemic. So to motivate people to stay active, at least at home, if they still can continue working out and move themselves, it's very important to stay healthy until old age, right?
When COVID was, he didn't even get sick. Like
I was working constructions all day long, and I didn't get sick. I was going to see some friends who are having COVID. We were in the same room without windows open.
And he didn't caught it. So
I was always sick as a child, always. So it's not. I don't think it's genetics. I think it's the state of our bodies.
He influenced his immunity based on the level of training he had.
Nutrition and activity. This is, I think, key factors for the
sun is important.
Sun is very important. Vitamin D, we're all deficient.
Yes, definitely.
That's about it.
Yes, right. Well, thank you very much. It was a really great topic. Много вам хвала. Спасибо.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes. So I hope we can talk more about such subjects. And thank you very much, guys. I hope you will have a great day.
Thank you.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.
Hi,
thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.